Good day, warriors of transformation and architects of destiny. Today, we embark on a journey from nothing to something, fueled by the relentless spirit of rise and grind. This is not just a path. It's a testament to the power of resilience, perseverance, and unwavering dedication to turning dreams into reality. From nothing to something, rise and grind. These words echo with the promise of possibility, reminding us that greatness is not reserved for the chosen few, but attainable by those who are willing to hustle, grind, and persist through adversity. It's a call to action, urging us to embrace the grind, harness our potential, and sculpt our futures with unyielding determination. So let us seize this moment with purpose. Let us forge ahead with grit, and let us transform challenges into stepping stones towards our aspirations. A few of you are heading to bed you also don't deserve to be. You lazy people don't deserve to sleep. You're not worthy of sleep. Those who work should take breaks. You are not inaction. You're chilling every day. Your why must be clear to you. And every morning I wake up because of my why. You're not getting it. Pay serious attention to what I have to say. If you're brave enough to list all of your goals down, you can write them all down. However, I have something to tell you. You will be smacked in the mouth by life. You also need to do me a great favor. That is not why you should be doing this. Nothing knocks you out at the conclusion of your feelings. However, every principle concludes with a promise. Discover a man who works hard at what he does, and he will stand before monarchs rather than just cruel people. You turn down your dreams on a daily basis. It's possible that you're delaying your dreams by 6 months. That one day only. That one day you choose not to wake up might have pushed your belongings back. How long is unknown to me. The initial stage of life success. Pay attention to me. The initial level. Observing it is the first step. Like you understand it clearly and are certain of your desires. You are certain of when you desire it. Pay attention to me. It tastes just how you know it does. You are aware of its appearance. You are familiar with its scent prior to really losing it. When you explode, you succeed. Without it, you genuinely hold it in the palm of your hand. The reason I'm telling you this right now is that I care about you. I can tell you this since I have experienced it myself. That's what I did. After 3 years, you're ready to step away. It doesn't appear to be working the way you anticipate after 5 years of doing it. All of your money is invested in it. People are staring at you crazy when you devote all of your time to it. You have invested for 5 years now. You've invested too much to give up now. Some of you have the issue of wanting someone else to encourage your dreams. However, this is my moment. It's my time now. Next day, it is not possible to have a tomorrow. How does your dream appear? How does it smell? How does it taste? Get your ass and make it happen if that's what you want to happen. Get up and grind if that's what you want to happen. Man, Detroit was really thriving while I was growing up. Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, and Smokey Robinson were all part of Motown. Detroit was like, when you think of the United States of America, you think of a metropolitan area. During the 1970s, we were in the same league as Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. After all, if it was taking place, it was in Hitsville, right? USA. Indeed, Detroit is at its prime right now. The city is experiencing a renaissance or revival. In Detroit, a newness exists. The auto industry, Ford, GM, Chrysler, was doing quite well. Detroit was just, it was living after all at that point. Mayor Coleman Young was an African American. Detroit, after all, was a real city. There was a lot going on in the city, really. I recall, when I was a child, it was only a blockage at 7 Mile. The 1970s were a real good time, dude. Just vehicles, kids and teens, just, in the streets, dancing, having fun. African Americans at the time had a middle class, lifestyle. Defense of the Vikings goal line. The center door is a handoff. He moves on now, cuts all the way to the 30 and 40 on his right. He has 2 males who should be in their 40s, 30s, 20s, 10S, and 5S. Incredible. American football was my favorite kind of football when I was younger. I live in Detroit on the block. We are engaging in tackling, two-handed touch, and imaginary football games. Me against the Pittsburgh Steelers and Dallas Cowboys, Man, when I was a child, that was my dream. I wanted to play American football. Like, school was all I wanted to do. To be honest, I attended school because it was required of me. However, I wouldn't say that I was a student at heart or that I was in love with the classroom. But my passion was football. I just did. My passion was that. All I wanted was to play football in the NFL. The explanation for your failure to give each dog your all when you arrive on the field, because you don't have a reason behind your actions. You do not know why. As soon as I enter the room, I can see some of you. For the most part, I chatted with every one of you when you arrived. Why? Because you're not being serious when I look into your eyes and I see some of you. When he was little, Eric was your average mama's boy, vivacious and a leader, even after that. When I was younger, my relationship with my mom was like, amazing, and everyone would always come to our house. We were quite near. We simply shared something akin to an emotional bond. We really did think and behave alike. When I was younger, that was my best friend. At the age of 12, I had a wonderful relationship with my son from the day of his birth. I received some news that, well, I guess you could say forever, altered my life or my upbringing. Eric remarked, "Mom, I have something I want to ask you," when he called me at work. I was hesitant to ask my mother anything at first, but there were some things I saw. I thought that perhaps my aunts and the individuals who were informing me were telling the truth, and that possibility could exist. I started to notice stuff like indicators. Friends from the block began chatting with me. Finally, like I mentioned, I'm not sure, but somewhere between 12 and 13, I don't recall the precise day, but I do recall phoning my mother and saying, "Mom, I have a question for you. Is Dad my real dad?" He exclaimed. "No, that was heartbreaking," my mother told me. And since someone else will share, I would urge everyone to share with their child. And when they hear about it from someone else, it's terrible. I believe my mother had me by mistake, which is why I was behaving foolish, homeless, and a high school dropout. Yeah, after hearing the news, my life did really take a different turn. Yes, you get what I mean when I say that I just kind of went south after that? I pulled away and turned inside. I went to school and basically clowned around, so I didn't really talk to my mother as much as I used to. It was disobedient. Nothing that teachers could tell me. I began behaving differently with my father, as in, "Yo, really, you're not my father." Do you understand what I mean? Keep your hands off of me. You are not allowed to touch me. You know what I mean when I say that I was hanging out with more of the tougher guys? More of the guys they would label the gangsters on the block. And it really just kind of went down here. I became really pessimistic afterward. As said earlier, home life changed due to school. My entire existence simply changed and continued. It was a downward trajectory. My parents came from an earlier generation. You're being impolite. You bear the consequences when you disobey the rules. I'm not going to pay the price for nothing. And I recall that when my mother spoke to me, I didn't give her any money. I gave mine. It's just like, duh. "Look, your mom's talking to you. Have a seat," my father said. I say to myself, I'm not sitting down. I'm not taking a seat. And then I just remember that after a little back and forth that escalated into an argument, I'm just sort of walking away. He seems to be saying, "No, you're not going to treat me disrespectfully." And I'm thinking, I'm leaving the house on foot. As I was leaving, they told me something like, "You can never come back to this house again if you leave for real." Well, whatever, I'm not coming back. I thought to myself, when you're homeless and live in buildings that have been abandoned, you eat out of garbage cans, or you go to the grocery store and steal food for yourself. It served as a warning. And it says, look what you got yourself into, yo, E. You're always bugging your mother, but she has a job and a place to live. Like you're the only one residing among deserted structures. The only one eating from trash cans is you. I was like, yo, E, really, you need to quit assigning blame. You have to accept personal responsibility at some time. Then something clicked. You got yourself here. You helped yourself get here. Whatever else may have happened, you need to get out right now. And all I can think of is telling you, man, that this isn't the end of your life, even if you're homeless right now. Perhaps this is the tale for today. This is not how my life will conclude. That was something I recall thinking to myself, we're going to leave here. We will succeed. It's freezing in Detroit in the winter, so I'm sleeping in between buildings. The only reason I'm at restaurants is to try to escape the cold rather than to eat. And I think to myself, this isn't going to last forever. And I distinctly recall thinking, I don't have nothing else. Despite not having been religious or raised in a church or anything similar. I seem to have prayed softly, man, God, I need help. I need your assistance to get out of this situation. I'm telling you, suffering passes. It might continue for a minute, an hour, a day, or even a year. But in the end, it will pass and be replaced by something new. But if I give up, it will never end. My freshman year, some boys and I launched a college ministry. Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, we would carry it out. These guys were beasts, really. As you may recall, one man desired to practice law and another pastoral ministry. Both his grandpa and father were probably clergymen. At first, all I wanted was to contribute to anything constructive, I relocated to Huntsville, Alabama from Detroit, Michigan. with the sole intention of contributing to a constructive endeavor. I had no idea that I could talk. I had no idea that I could speak. I mean, as a child, I spoke a lot. If you ask my mother or my instructors, I'm sure you'll understand what I mean. Yes, I spoke a lot, but I never considered talking to be my job. However, upon arriving at college, I noticed African American men. They're identified as WSB, which stands for willing, successful, and black. These guys were amazing. Hugo Boss suits, power ties, they look like lawyers. And I would hear what they were talking about. They discussed Brown v. Board of Education, Plessy v. Ferguson, and the need to surround oneself with positive African American guys. For the first time, I wasn't in the neighborhood where they were discussing gangs, girls, drugs, and fights. It was astonishing that these people were discussing foreign affairs. I was thinking, all I want to be is a hole in the wall at that point. I then began assisting these guys, putting programs together and other tasks. One day, though, one of the guys failed to appear to give a speech, and, I had to do it because I was there. I thus recall that my first speech was unbelievable. The crowd for my first address was roughly 3,400, and they really did adore it. It's funny how people would approach me later and say things like, "Hey, Eric, you said something that really pricked my heart." Oh, whoa! I thought, it reminded me of football. That was me when I played football. However, I'd never done anything intellectual that would have given me the same kind of feeling as playing sports. I said, "Yeah, wait," when they gave me a chance to speak and everything went well. Hold off until I can acquire it, until the next opportunity. I realized at the age of 19, as a freshman in college, that this was something when I would talk because, I would just feel like a superhuman every time I spoke. It was a gift, It was unique. And I had decided that my hustle was going to be public speaking rather than playing football. You'll achieve when your desire to succeed is as strong as your desire to breathe. I'm not sure how many of you have asthma, but if you have ever experienced an asthma attack, you will be panting, wheezing, and having trouble breathing. You're only trying to take a breath of fresh air. Nothing about no basketball game matters to you. What's on TV doesn't matter to you. And it doesn't matter if no one calls you. You are uninterested in parties. When you're trying to breathe, getting some fresh air is all that matters. And that's it. You'll know you've succeeded when you reach a stage where achieving achievement is all you want to do, more than breathing. I believe that my presentation is so special because it is truly heartfelt. You are aware that my words are genuine, and I don't mind being open and honest. I don't hesitate to discuss my shortcomings. I'm not hesitant to discuss regarding my worries. I have no problem sharing my tale and opening up to the public about my life. As we conclude this empowering journey from nothing to something, rise and grind, let us carry forward the spirit of transformation and perseverance. Let each day be a testament to our ability to rise above circumstances and create something meaningful from nothing. From nothing to something, rise and grind. Let these words resonate in our hearts as a reminder that every effort, every sacrifice, and every setback is a stepping stone towards our ultimate goals. With determination as our compass and resilience as our armor, let us continue to push boundaries, defy expectations, and carve our paths towards success. So go forth, champions of possibility, and embrace the grind with unwavering commitment. The journey from nothing to something begins with a single step, and with each step forward, we inch closer to the extraordinary.